Recording is on.
Hey all, welcome to ESO community meeting. Uh, Thank you all for your presence. First thing I would like to say, here's a link for our meeting notes. You can quickly open and add your meeting notes if you have some, add some agenda topics. Also remember that we do have a code of conduct. It is available on our external secrets documentation, which basically says don't be dicks, don't be jerks. This is also available here. So before starting the meeting, just to introduce a newcomer, Tom, I think it's on the line. So please, Tom, if you want to introduce yourself,
Sure. Thanks,
completely
Gustavo.
optional.
Yeah, I'll say a few words. So I work for a company called Engineer Better, which is a subsidiary of Container Solutions. I'm here today because Engineer Better is interested in getting more involved with the development of ESO. And before we figure out what that looks like, I wanted to attend one of these meetings, find out how contributions are made and how things work.
Thanks. So I think we can now go through the meeting notes if you all can see it. I tried to separate them into non-technical and technical, just so we can have a grasp idea of what it is. So we'll start with the non-technical ones. The first one, ESO online meetups. So here at CS, one of the things that we are really wanting to do is start to create some online meetups to create a community around ESO, to foment the community now that the project is building up momentum. And I just wanted to check in with you how that would look like. So our idea is have like a bi-monthly meeting where we ask the community for material, and if they don't provide any, we can do some quick guide around how to use ESO, either with Flux, either with Argo, how to configure Cert Manager, some tutorial like that. Hey Fidel, thanks for joining. Do you want to quickly present yourself? Completely optional.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine. Hello, folks. Let me use my camera for the sake of. I'm a real person, not a robot. So hello, folks. I'm Fidel. I work as a DevOps engineer at IBM. Well, what can I say? Our thing is kind of using the external secret banner. I have some couple of questions. I actually jump out of my standard just to make some questions in this meeting. I just find it out by chance. So one saying.
Nice.
And by my name, you can assume, yes, I'm from Cuba, if anyone.
Okay. Close from me, I'm from Brazil. So
oh, nice.
I'm just
I
going
speak Portuguese as well.
Oh, nice. I'm going to send the meeting notes that we're following and our contribution guide in the chat so you can follow it along, okay? So you can actually just put a point there in the meeting notes so we can actually address your question afterwards. So regarding online meetups, Container Solutions is really keen to do it. I just wanted to know your opinion on how to do it. So the idea would be online, one presentation only, 30 minutes maybe the session, either focused around content, either focused around contributing, how to contribute. And if the community has any content, has any story to share, we put it there as well. Monthly or bi-monthly, it really will depend on the quorum and to have like a regular meetup thing.
But is the idea to use like something proper for events like Brella that CS use for some things, or just streaming on YouTube or like a call on Zoom or something?
We can start with a call on Zoom because I think it's cheaper, quicker, and if things evolve, we can go to a platform. I'm not aware of Bright, but I think it's kind of like Eventbrite, right? Something like that.
Yeah. And so the idea is that CS would help with that as well, right?
Yes. Everything is kind of ready already. We are already preparing like a Flux tutorial, but we want to see if you're fine with it, or if you're not fine, what should we do? This actually goes with a lot of other points here now that we have different sponsors to the project, right?
Yeah.
So I'll pass the ball now. I will just write something around here, but we can discuss the next topic, cloud account expenses.
Yeah, so I totally like the idea to do that. I guess we can just try it out like once or two times and see like if it works, if people actually come, and if it is fun to attend. And I guess if not, we can try out some different ideas. I'm not sure if like a meetup format is actually worth it to do it like bi-monthly or monthly or so. I think like that's a very high frequency. But I guess let's just try it out and see.
So just put some comments here. My computer is a little bit slow. Maybe I'll crash. Hopefully not. So the next topic, cloud account expenses.
Oh, yeah, that was one topic for me. Now that I don't have company paid cloud accounts, I just made a subscription on AWS. So I just put my credit card there, and for now, like I'm in the free tier, so everything's good. I just wanted to ask whether we can pay the expenses through what's it called, Open Collective, I think, for these dedicated account that's used for ESO explicitly.
Is this for operating CI?
No, this is just for development, because I need some keys to like some proper cloud account, so to use a proper API to integrate with. And yeah, doing it through CI is a pain in the ass because you have to wait for like a couple of minutes, 30-ish minutes, and that feedback loop is just way too long to get something done.
We sure can use the Open Collective money. It's actually the best approach. This goes with, I think, a level down issue. We should probably have account for ESO, like a GCP account for ESO, and then bind it to Open Collective card or something like that. Just so we actually can have any maintainers on the project be able to access that, to contribute that, to use that infrastructure to develop, and then have the interface be more through Open Collective, I'd say. It's past time we actually do that. Not that I'm not glad that for now we can use Container Solutions accounts, but it's kind of limited. Even the number of providers that we cannot have IBM providers as easily. We cannot have several other providers as easily. Yeah. This actually makes it easier for us on the long term.
Yeah. Can you have a look, Gustavo? How much are we expanding on CS accounts right now?
Last 3 months, total was 50 euros. So.
Okay.
Exactly. Nice. If we consider that CS eventually goes to an Open Collective sponsorship, we have enough money for.
Yeah, for sure. Makes sense. That's good.
Yeah, especially with the Phone 3 bronze sponsorship with like $100 per month, like that's easily covered with that.
Exactly.
Nice.
Next point, project board release planning. I will actually put for the cloud account expenses, I will put an action item to create ESO accounts, let's say.
Yep, that makes sense.
And afterwards?
I'm not sure if that is like so easily, because I guess we need some sort of
organization,
and maybe like a firm organization account. This is like probably a pain in the ass to get that done somehow. But yeah, I guess we can take a look into this. Yeah.
I just don't want to force it, but I'm sure that Container Solutions would be happy to do it. I just don't want to force this approach. If we have to, I know we can do it by here. I just don't want to push. So let's try to do.
Sorry, what do you mean?
To use choose Container Solutions as the organization behind it in order to have a specific account.
That one wouldn't be good because then it will be the same problem.
Again, if we cannot follow through, we can use this plan B alternative or something like that. but we can see how we can create an organization. I think other projects do that. We can see how they do it and maybe just copy the model.
Yeah, yeah. One of the points that I added maybe would influence this.
You can go to this point, and then we go to project board.
Okay. Yeah. So we started discussing applying for CNCF sandboxing. And Carla from CIS, she reached out. She has a contact, Katie, and she's one of the 11 persons on the talk that they vet or put projects forward with the sandbox. And we are thinking about applying, also pinging Katie, like giving more context about the project, everything that we are doing, and like the reach that we have and this kind of stuff. If we apply and we get inside CNCF Sandbox, we probably can use CNCF as the organization creating these accounts. And then it would be simpler in a way. But then we would have to wait. I don't know if we want to wait for that.
Do we get these benefits being CNCF sandboxed and not incubated yet?
Yeah, because it's just because we need an account. It's just that then there's an organization that we can create an account in their name, right? We can be the administrators anyway.
Yeah, I get the idea. I'm just not sure this privilege we get going sandbox, or if it's in the next step, if it is going incubated.
Yeah,
because
we can check.
Yeah, we need to check what we actually gain, and if that's the solution, that's the best solution actually. It goes straightforward with our goals. Then we can just wait a little bit more to create ESO accounts.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, regarding the CNCF thing, sandbox, maybe we can just hop on a call with either, I forgot the name of the contact that you have, Lucas. Maybe just hop on a call and ask a couple of questions, kind of what their expectations are and their requirements towards projects. Maybe we can like do a quick introduction of us and of the project and see if it's actually somewhat feasible or if that's like completely out of scope for them. Just to avoid to wasting a lot of time of like the TOC members and our time as well. I guess it would be fine to just prep a call with, I don't know, 30 minutes and just discuss what our plan is and if that fits within the CNCF.
Makes sense. Yeah, I'll let Carla know and then maybe we can talk to them. Cool. Can put this action item on my name.
Yeah, maybe you can add one more thing to just like have like one document where all the questions are in, so we can just kind of collect all the questions we have and go through them when we have a meeting with them.
Yes.
Lucas, can you type on HackMD? I'm trying to type one letter and it's taking 10 seconds here. So
yeah.
Thank you.
No worries.
So meanwhile, next point, project board, release planning. I already seen some activities there.
Yeah, that was mine. Because there was so much stuff going on, I completely was like overwhelmed with all the issues and tickets and the different states we're in. So I put a little bit of time into creating a board where you have like all the issues. And maybe I can just quickly share that. I guess I would like to write a little bit of documentation about that. Let's maybe out a little bit. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So you can find the board in the External Secrets organization. I can paste a link shortly. This board is right now public, and everyone can see it, access it, and so on. You can just, it's one of these beta projects. And you can have like a different tabs here, one for like bug-related things, or here like by release. I started to create milestones like 0.6 for the next feature release and 0.7 for the one afterwards. And I just basically put random issues in there where I knew that this will be covered like in the short term, and others who are not in the short term are in the GA or 0.7 release. So that should help us a little bit more to focus on things that are on the horizon, like on the short term for this particular feature. And if we scroll down, there's some GA-related tickets and a lot of more issues without a milestone. And I guess maybe we can just, maybe we can do some sort of planning session or so if you feel like. I don't have the need right now because I think that helps me at least a little bit to get a little bit of overview to see like what's relevant for the next.
I think the planning sessions are actually going to be quite useful, especially this would align with the intentions of Engineer Better, if I'm correct, right, Tom? So this actually can help Engineer Better help us as well.
Yeah, I guess I could say some more. I'd like Action Actors to talk about that because there's a couple of ideas that Engineer Better has for contributing. I'd like to talk about a few ways that we can. Let me add something to the agenda and we can get to it at the end.
And thanks for the link, Moritz.
Yeah, I will write a little bit more stuff down how I imagine it, how it works, and kind of the issues that we have with it right now, because we have to manually assign issues to this board, which is a feature that is requested, but not yet implemented by GitHub.
Next point. I think that works great, and we can actually afterwards start some planning sessions. It will help everyone, even external people, to understand when this feature is going to be released, so they don't have to keep asking us, "Is this already released?" Which is already happening. So the next point is ESO blog about sponsorships and big changes.
Yeah, I have just a few minutes, but I think we can discuss a bit about this. So the chief editor of CS reached out, and he thinks would be nice to talk about everything that is happening recently. So the sponsorship from Form 3, and also all the big changes that were released with 0.5, and everything that we think would be interesting to talk about. So yeah. And then he suggested a blog on CS blog, but also would be interesting to have something else on Form 3. And yeah, I think it makes sense. And we can co-write all of this.
Yeah, do you mean like that we create like one blog article, and then just repost it on the other blog, or how do you imagine that?
I'm not sure. Maybe a different one about, like, we can split these topics, like one about the sponsorship and another one about the release. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I had in my mind as well, to create a blog post regarding the beta that's been up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we can coordinate like who writes what and how do we, yeah.
Yeah,
But
totally.
yeah, I already have some ideas. Yeah.
Cool. Count me in for any co-writes if I can help, both of you. Although you can do it on your own, right? But next one, collaborations with YouTubers and podcasts.
Yeah, that kind of goes in line with the previous topic, because I guess to push a little bit more, especially that the beta is now available, we can probably contact some YouTubers or some podcasts to talk about that, or make a video about that. I'm just asking, like, who of you would be interested into maybe hosting or co-hosting a session with someone. If there's someone interested, I can reach out for people, and then we can just figure out who do that session and what kind of format. Is someone interested in that?
I am.
For sure. I also have been trying to reach out to the people that have written content around ESO, kind of with the same purpose, although they actually wanted to be paid to do the beta content. So that was kind of a blocker right now. But yeah, I totally agree.
I see how that works now. Okay, I guess we're not going to do that.
If we actually want, we can try to find funding for it. But if it is like an open source way, like only because the project is nice, it's going to be better, I think, at least for now.
Yeah.
So can I mean, sorry, I'm going to interject in this one. I know that I just think that, I mean, the project is good enough for it to be promoted to word of mouth, right? So I know that a lot of companies already are using it. As you know, I mean, we see in the contribution. And like I said, I know in IBM there is supposed of using the Kubernetes external secret manner, but it's linked to this new project. Uh, so I guess that even if it is not through a, let's say, a famous podcaster or a famous YouTuber that can, diversify it a little bit more, even if someone in the community takes the time to create the tutorial, of course, it might not be, it might not have the reach or the audience at the beginning, right? But if we start doing it by our own, like sharing it in LinkedIn, sharing it in YouTube, sharing it in Twitter, and even sending it all to any of those big conferences, right, for the Kubernetes ecosystem, that of course definitely will, put the word out there, right, and more people will be aware of that. So if they are asking for money, I mean, unfortunately at this point, that cannot happen. So, and it's fine, right? So
Yeah, for sure.
Totally agree. That's kind of what we're trying to do. It's really on this direction, trying to find ways to work on it. So last non-technical subject, potential contributions from Engineer Better.
Hello, this was me. So, as I mentioned, Engineer Better is owned by Container Solutions. We're a consultancy. The way we work is quite similar to Container Solutions. One thing that we have is when engineers are not working with clients, typically they go to a place we call the beach. Some people call it the bench, and it's just random odd bits, usually geared towards the engineer's education or maybe maintaining some internal tooling. At Engineer Better, we want to formalize this, and we want to have a functional product team working on real things for people to join between engagements. One of the things that we thought we could do with that is make contributions to ESO. It's a maturing product, and it would be an interesting problem for people to work on between engagements. And it's kind of a win-win for both sides, right? ESO gets more contributions, and the engineers at Engineer Better get somewhere to hone their skills between engagements. We are building like a fully fledged functional product development team, which means that you mentioned earlier you wanted to do some kind of planning session. One of the things that team will have is a product manager who is an expert at running those kinds of sessions. The reason I'm listening in today is because Engineer Better has its own opinionated way of how to develop software. ESO will have its own established way of how contributions are made. I'm just looking at what those differences are right now to see what level of contribution makes sense. And then I'll have some conversations with you folks in future, maybe suggest some ways in which we can collaborate on things. So just wanted to initially make you all aware of that we want to help, and it should help both of us.
That's awesome.
Cool, sounds great.
I need
Again.
to drop. I had another point, but I'll watch the recording and continue asynchronously. Take care.
Yeah,
Bye.
I think the last point is one pass provider, right? I can share the context that I know, and then
Yeah.
if needed, you can.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Bye-bye.
So starting the technical points, the first one that it was from Lucas, it's one password provider. He's helping one of his mentorees. I'm not sure if that is a word. One of the engineers that he mentors to build the one password provider, and it's coming to a stabilized point. It should be around soon. I think there are some issues that we may need to discuss. I'm not aware if they solved it on their own. And yeah, I don't have any more updates than that. Just to keep you posted that this provider should be coming anytime soon. And it's a very long-term wanted provider. We did not include it because it needed some extra binaries installed. now 1Password have a API available, so we do not need to have this binary inside our code, which was the main blocker. These were the main updates there. Now, the next 2 points are mine. They're kind of tricky. So the first one is actually simple. It's not tricky. So we have 2 issues, data from key rewrite and external secrets decoding strategy, which will need some kind of CRD changed. And especially for data from key rewrite, even though we have an idea of what should cover everything, maybe we should spec them out just to have time so we can gain community feedback as well. So creating a design document, saying the changes, saying the objectives, sit there and wait for 2 weeks or so. And if everyone agrees, then we can actually start coding, just so we can capture any possible unknown use case.
Yeah, that sounds good. I guess like it's a couple of different topics that go into that, because like the key rewriting topic is like happening in multiple places and templating the data from so on. So I guess like we gotta do like one larger-ish proposal that hopefully contains like all the problems and hopefully like a good solution with that. So yeah.
And I think it goes the same with the decoding strategy. We can as well apply the decoding strategy in several places in the code. So I think it's kind of similar on the fact that we might want to spec it out before we actually implement it and then have to change 3 weeks afterwards.
Yeah.
Next topic. This one is going to be controversial. So this is the validate general behavior. For context, we are having a pull request that implements a floodgate. So right now we have a condition that validates if the secret store is valid, and another one that is used to fetch the secrets. And right now these are in parallel. So if the secret store is not valid, it won't change the external secret's actual job. And this can cause some flood conditions when the store is not actually valid. So the idea of DPR is to actually use the secret store state as a floodgate and avoid external secrets to try to sync to something that is not valid. The thing is, it depends on the validate call in the secret store. And this validate call, it is dependent on the credentials of that secret store. And on another feature request, we have the fact that secret stores might run with no credentials, and it's the job of the external secrets to use their own credentials, I would say like that. It's like a namespace credentials, but kind of implicit. These are kind of incompatible, and we can actually run on a lot of bugs if we don't really think and consider what is the general behavior for validate. Just as an example, right now we had validate for GitLab provider being merged. And this validate, considering these 2 feature requests, it wouldn't be compliant. So we could have one external secret pointing to one GitLab provider in one secret token, in one namespace, another in another namespace, and effectively we will have a secret store that never syncs and an external secret that never loads because the secret store is never syncing.
I think these 2 proposals are